Here's a quote for you: a historic mistake. That's what the leader of our closest Mideast ally, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, calls the short-term nuclear deal the U.S. and 5 other world powers just signed with Iran. Turkey, Iraq, and Syria welcoming the deal, but even Saudi Arabia and other Gulf Arab states expressing concern, as are lawmakers on both sides here at home.
I don't buy into this, what I believe is a false choice between war or a policy of appeasement. I just don't. All we have to do is listen to our allies who are most proximate to the threat in the region, Israel, the Gulf Arab allies that we have, who have been saying all along that any kind of deal with this regime in Iran is not worth the paper it's written on.
And Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer saying, quote, "I am disappointed by the terms of the agreement. A fairer agreement would have coupled a reduction in sanctions with a proportionate reduction in Iranian nuclear capability," end quote. Joining me now, Ryan Morrow, a national security analyst. Good to see you in studio, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so many people are saying, wow, is this a good thing for the United States? And you say?
Absolutely not, because all it does is delay some of Iran's nuclear advancements. And this is part of the makeover of the Iranian regime. They decided that they needed someone who is practiced in talking softer and in tricking the West. In fact, there is videotape out there that you can see at our website of the so-called moderate president of Iran bragging with a big smile about how he's been able to buy time from the nuclear program and trick the West into believing him, into being as if he's sincere.
It's interesting because Fox News confirmed earlier today that President Obama was having these secret talks going on and that he advised Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel of these talks in September. It was shortly thereafter that we saw Netanyahu come out and really express concern about what was going to go on. So my question to you is, could this deal have been put in place to stop some sort of an attack that Israel was potentially plotting to take care of their own vested interests in their own nation?
Well, you have to understand Iran's strategy. It's to take one step back in order to later take 2 steps forward. So at the current pace of the Iranian nuclear program, in about 6 months, according to the Israelis, the Iranians were about to reach critical capability when they can quickly produce a nuclear weapon. Now, if the program is stalled, does that time frame expand? Yes, it does. But in return, the Iranian regime is getting about $7 to $10 billion, which is money that's going to go towards the nuclear program later, is going to be used to stabilize the regime, and ultimately, it's going to be used to support terrorists that kill our soldiers.
All right. I want to bring your attention to something that President Obama said in a statement after this agreement was announced. He said, quote, "It would halt the progress of the Iranian nuclear program." Do you agree with that?
Temporarily, it does, but it depends on how you define nuclear program. There's certain elements that are going to be temporarily frozen for about 6 months. But the more problematic parts of the program, developing a warhead, the nuclear triggering mechanism, they're just going to have the North Koreans work on that. And they have scientists going back and forth between the 2 rogue countries. And so once they fix those problems, they'll then return to these parts of the program.
So people immediately went on social media after this announcement happened. Senator Lindsey Graham tweeted, of course, from South Carolina, "Unless the agreement requires dismantling of the Iranian centrifuges, we really haven't gained anything." You also had Congressman Tom Price of Georgia. White House deal with Iran raises serious concerns. White House has alienated allies. Much left to be seen whether we can trust what White House hopes to verify. I ask you this question, Ryan. Is the message now that this deal gives out to other international countries, like China, for example, that now that sanctions might be lessened or off the table, that they can now start dealing with Iran again because the U.S. thinks that they're okay?
Yes, but it also sends the signal that Iran is coming back, because as we speak, Iran is trying to make amends with Turkey, the Muslim Brotherhood, so that they can come back as the dominant regional power. And so this sends the signal that the U.S. has accepted Iran's nuclear program, which is what their objective was from the beginning. Before, the debate used to be, do you allow Iran to enrich uranium?
Right.
Now, it's accepted that you allow Iran to enrich to 3.5% of the uranium enrichment, which is about 7/10 of the way towards creating nuclear bomb fuel. And it's very important that we understand the ideology of the regime, and that's why we've made our documentary, Iranium, free for viewing at clarionproject.org so everyone can understand what's going on.
Ryan, thanks for your expertise.
Thank you.
Fox News.